Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. So, we are working on directed writing task. Yesterday, we discussed the terms related to directed writing task like audience, purpose, tone, and register. Once you read the question in directed writing task, after that, you decide that who is the audience, what is the purpose of this task, what kind of tone you are going to adopt, and once you have adopted a tone, what kind of words you are going to use in that. Now the use of words you are going to tell yourself while writing that. So audience, purpose, and tone, this is something that you decide. Rather, I must say that you tell yourself that who is the audience, what is the purpose. After that, once you start writing, you set the tone, and then when you set the tone, after that you use the kind of words that are or vocabulary that is required there. Now, once all these things are clear and you know that basically what you have to do in a directed writing task, we are concerned about two basic things, or the examiner basically is going to check for these two things. First thing is evaluation, that you all know that you have two text A and text B. Text A and text B basically are two different opinions. That does not mean that one thing is good or the other thing is bad, but one thing can be good for you and may be bad for someone else. Good or bad or right or wrong as we see it, as it is correct for us. Like, let's say the example of mobile use of mobiles in classes. So there are two different opinions regarding this. One opinion says that mobile phones must be allowed in class because it has a lot many advantages. Whereas there is another person who says that mobile phones must not be allowed in class because there are many disadvantages and disadvantages outweigh its advantages. So basically you have to read both the text A and text B, and then you will evaluate them. You will ask yourself that which opinion is correct for you. Both are two different opinions, both are right for someone, both are wrong for someone. You'll have to ask yourself that which is the opinion that you agree with, and you are going to how you are going to make up your opinion. You are going to read both the text, read all the opinions given there, the people who are present there in those texts. You are going to evaluate it. Now, sometimes when students evaluate the ideas, they think that they have to analyze it. They do not know the difference between analysis and evaluation. So, if you just analyze things, you won't be able to give your own opinion after that. But if you evaluate things, you will be able to give your own opinion after this. Evaluation and opinion, they go side by side. If you can't evaluate, you can't give your opinion. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about the difference between evaluation and analysis. This video basically is for the students who have just started, who are beginners, who have started attempting directed writing tasks. They don't know that when they have two texts in front of them, how they are going to approach the task, how they are going to write an article, how they are going to write a letter, how they are going to write a report, an email, or a speech. So the basic thing is that they must know how they are going to treat the text they have been given, and they have to evaluate the text. So they must be clear about one thing, the difference between analysis and evaluation. So let's have a look at the word analysis and evaluation. What's the difference between these two words? So first of all, analysis. Analysis basically is breaking down and explaining. Analysis involves breaking something into parts to understand how and why it works. You are identifying techniques, ideas, patterns, or structures and explaining their function or effect. The question that describes analysis is, what is it and how does it work? The evaluation is about whether this is good or bad, whether this is right or wrong for me, for you, whether this is effective or ineffective for me, or whether this is going to work for me or this won't work for me. That is evaluation, whereas analysis has nothing to do with good or bad, right or wrong, effective or ineffective. It just tells us that what this thing is that we have been given, that we are analyzing, and how does it work. If we have a question that mobile is allowed in class or not, or allowed not allowed, that demands evaluation. Whereas if we just think that what is a mobile and how does it work, that is totally a different thing. It just requires analysis. So here we have an example. Here we have been given one text from a text, one sentence from a text. The sky wept and the little girl stood alone in the rain. That is the sentence. The sky wept as the little girl stood alone in the rain. We are going to analyze this whole sentence that we have been given. So what we are going to analyze in that? We are going to identify different words. We are going to just pass our remarks on them, and we are going to tell that how they have been used. The writer uses the first thing that we see here, that the sky wept. The sky is not a human being. Sky is not a living thing, but we are saying that it weeps. It wept. That means we are using personification. We are making it a human. We are using the device of personification here. And when we use the device of personification, we are telling that the sky is crying, the sky is weeping. Basically, we are trying to create a state of gloominess, a state of gloom, a state of sadness in this sentence. And we are talking about this little girl who is present in the line. What the writer is doing, the writer uses personification by describing the sky as weeping, which mirrors the girl's sadness and creates a gloomy atmosphere. Breaks down a literary device and explains how it affects the tone. That is analysis, that we are just passing remarks, or we are just analyzing the use of different words in a text. That is analysis. You are not supposed to do analysis in a directed writing task. Now what you have to do in a directed writing task, it is here. You have to evaluate. Now what is evaluation? Evaluation basically is judging or assessing. You have to judge, you have to assess, you have to pass, you have to give a complete judgment. You have to make a decision that whether this is correct or not, whether this is right or wrong for you. Maybe something that is right for you may be wrong for another person. Maybe something that is wrong for you may be right for another person. Like there is an example of homework. Maybe you think that homework is an effective thing, and teachers should give a lot of homework so that students learn more. Whereas there's another student who thinks that homework is totally a waste of time, and teachers should stop, or schools should stop giving such homeworks. So these are two different opinions. There's no absolute right or wrong here. This is just a matter of our own opinion. So what we are going to do in evaluation? Evaluation is in something that involves forming a judgment based on evidence. You are assessing effectiveness. You are assessing effectiveness, quality, impact, or value of something, and that you do after the analysis. First, you analyze, but analyze for yourself. Examiner is not going to check you for analysis. Examiner will check you just for evaluation. And once you have evaluated, what is the second thing that you have to do? The second thing is giving your own opinion. If you evaluate things well, if you can evaluate, you can give your opinion. If you cannot evaluate, you cannot give your opinion. So that's why you need to learn how to how to evaluate. So let's have a look at this. The key question that is related to evaluation is how well. It's not that how does it work, it is how well does it work, and is it effective, something that is effective or ineffective, how well it works or it badly works, something like that. The same example we are going to use here, and the example is the sky wept. Now we are going to use the same example for evaluation. The sky wept as the little girl stood alone in the rain. Evaluation may be that we are going to evaluate the use of device of personification, that when the writer uses personification in this sentence, so is it effective using personification in this sentence? Does it do the needful here, or it doesn't do the serve the purpose? So the technique, now we are evaluating. The technique is effective because it allows readers to feel empathy for the girl and emphasizes the emotional tone of the scene. This makes a judgment, or we can say that the technique is not effective at all. This is also, we evaluate and then this is our opinion that we are making. We evaluate, we give opinion. We evaluate, we give opinion. These two go side by side. If you learn to evaluate, you will be able to give your opinion also. So this makes a judgment about success of the technique. So giving evaluation and then giving your opinion, that is the thing that you are going to do in a directed writing task. Again, let's go back to the thing. Basically, there are only two bullet points. Evaluate the ideas and opinions in both text A and text B, and then give your own views about the topic on the basis of what you have read in both texts. And naturally, when you evaluate, you give your own opinion also. So in directed writing task, you have to keep these two bullet points in your mind before or while writing anything. That's all about the evaluation and analysis. After that, we'll be discussing how you are going to do your directed writing task as far as these two bullet points are concerned. That's all for now. Allah Hafiz. Take care.